much. This is a little tough for me today, so if you could just bear with me. Just got to do it, I guess. Okay. Hi, my name is Dorvil, and I'm an entrepreneuraholic. It's been 7 months, 15 days since I started my last business. You know you're inflicted with this disease because you have symptoms such as sleep deprivation, fatigue, grandiose thinking, and this insatiable desire to prove people wrong. And so that's me. And one of the biggest challenges with this disease is really finding enough money to get your next fix. And so for me, I've really come up with a couple of ways to find money for your next. Are there any other entrepreneuraholics in the building? Okay, I see them all over the room. So you know what I'm going through. You know the feeling. So hopefully these tips are helpful, because the unfortunate part is that our supplier, better known as investors, they know we have a problem too. And so we have to show them how we can make money with what we're doing. But before I do all that, let me step back and give you a little background on me. Both my parents were born in Haiti, and they came to America not knowing how to speak English. And at a very young age, they told both me and my sister that education is the foundation of opportunity and possibility in America. And that if we wanted to overcome racism or prejudice, that we needed to be excellent. Because when you're excellent, people stand up and take note. And so we took that advice to heart. I was blessed to go to Southern Methodist University, where I was able to get a triple major in public policy, economics, and psychology, and then went off to SMU to get my MBA. I stayed a little busy in school, just a little bit. But my junior year, I was blessed to read a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And if you're an entrepreneuraholic, I think this should be required reading for that. I see some claps in the back, yes. And it really challenged me to start a business. But for me, I didn't want to do something that just made money. I wanted to do something that also had meaning. And so decided to start a tutoring business. But how we started and how we designed it was a little bit different than most. Has everybody heard of Big Brothers, Big Sisters? Pretty much everybody, yeah. So if they tutored, they would look a lot like what we do. We get college kids and young professionals to go out to local schools and to be mentors and tutors for these kids. And as Elijah said in the opening, from those humble beginnings with my dorm room and my car as the office, we were blessed to grow to do over $35 million in sales, work with over 800,000 hours of tutoring, 2,000 jobs were created. But what I'm most proud of is the impact we've had with kids. And so there's one school in Dallas that they gave us a group of kids that had a 0% pass rate. So they hadn't passed the last year's state assessment test. And we took that group from 0% to 75% in just 6 months. And when you look even deeper into the numbers, the school as a whole had a 44% passage rate. And when you look deeper into our kids, any of the bubble kids who are 1 to 3 questions away, they actually had a 90% passage rate by working with the students. I'm just so proud of what the kids have been able to do when they're able to see a walking billboard of success who comes to them and say, hey, I did it, and you can do it too. Now, I tell you that story and tell you that background primarily so that you can understand my problem. Well, my problem was, although it was an amazing run, we needed money in order to grow the business. And so one of the first things that we had to do, some advice I got early, was make sure you explain to your supplier how you make money. And so for us, it was really simple. It was a tutoring business. So I got some advice early on and take this with you. Whenever you're running a service business, you want to try to have 3 times your direct costs as your business model. So our tutors cost about $10 an hour, and so we want to charge at least about $30 an hour in order to have enough margin to make the business work. So that's what we did, and it worked out well. And that was something very easy that I explained to investors, and they would really understand what we're doing. So the question for your business is, how does your business make money? Unfortunately, groups like Instagram and even Facebook as they started, when they go off and create billions of dollars, it gets people believing that, oh, making money is not that big a deal. Well, that hasn't been my experience. My experience has been that investors, for whatever reason, it's a little odd, but they want to get their money back. And so in order for them to get their money back, they have to understand how you make money. Now, then again, if making money is not that big a deal to you, then you probably should just go the nonprofit route, because in that world, then at least your investor or your donor gets a tax write-off and they get something for their time. But if you're really trying to run a business, it's critical that you explain how your business makes money. And the second piece of advice I'd give you is really having an extraordinary management team. and being able to prove to your supplier that this management team can take you to the next level. Now, early on, we couldn't do that. Early on, we were a bunch of college kids just going around trying to figure out how to make this work. And so early on, we weren't investable. Nobody would give us money to do the things that we wanted to do. But as time went on, as we were able to prove up the model, and we were able to have success both financially and academically, we then became investable. And I was able to show, although we were young, investors saw our youth as our greatest strength and our greatest weakness. But because we had success, they were willing to invest in us. Everybody had a feeling that what we were doing was working. But facts are greater than feeling. And so you have to actually go out and prove that you can do what you say you can do. The third piece of advice I'd give you is to make sure you have a competitive advantage. I hear entrepreneurs all the time talk about how they're the next Facebook or they're similar to Facebook. But that always begs the question to me that, so then what if Facebook starts doing that? Because that's going to be a problem, because Facebook's bigger than you. And so even when I tell the story about Big Brothers, Big Sisters, if they started tutoring, I feel like we have a competitive advantage in that we have a 10-year track record. In my business, success is what you can build on. That's what our competitive advantage is. What's your competitive advantage? What is the point of difference? What is the thing that sets you apart and your business apart that will allow you to be successful? The final piece that I'll give you, which I think is really hard for social entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs in general to understand, is this idea of every investor is very similar to you. And what I mean by that is they want to buy something on sale. When I go to the store, if I have an option of buying something at full price or buying something on sale, I tend to want to buy the thing on sale. You may be different, I understand that. But investors tend to want to buy things on sale. And so when I went to go sell my business, it was really hard because the investors, and back in 2011, we sold the business to a group of investors in Dallas, and they really were looking to give me a heavily discounted value of my business, and it was frustrating and irritating. But once I finally understood that, one, I wanted to add a strategic partner in order to grow, and two, the money they were offering me was enough to hit my personal goals, I was okay with it, and I was able to sell the business. Luckily, 2 years later, I had an opportunity to buy the business back. And it was a crazy thing. When I was on the other side, all of a sudden I wanted a discount too. And so I was able to actually buy the business back for 10% of what I sold it for. And I had that same mindset. I wanted to buy it at a discount because I knew there was value in the company, but I wanted to guarantee that value by buying it on sale. And so when you're looking at your entrepreneurial venture and you're looking to raise money, you got to understand investors want to buy something at a discount. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's annoying. But remember, they're becoming a strategic partner for you, and it might not work out for them. So because of that, they want to hedge their bet by buying something on a discount. And so in general, if you follow those 4 steps, make sure it's clear how your business makes money. Make sure you have a great management team. Make sure you can explain and understand your competitive advantage and allow people to buy stuff at a discount. You're well positioned for success. I was told that I can actually take some time for question and answer. So actually, if that's okay with y'all, I'd like to turn it back over to y'all and take some question and answer from the audience. Is that okay with y'all? Do y'all have some questions? All right, well, go ahead. So question from the audience. Any questions? Yes, sir.
What drove you to decide to buy your business back 2 years after selling?
Yeah, so for me, it was I still believed. So what happened was we grew the business. When they came in, they actually wanted to, at the time, I think that year we did about 11 or 12 million in sales. And they wanted to take us from a $10 million business to a $60 million business. That was their focus. And in order to do that, we had to expand nationwide. We went to they bought the business in May, and by August, we were in 35 cities in 13 states. And that was a little fast. So that didn't work out too well. So we actually had to scale it back a little bit. I still remember a life-changing day for me on November 1st, 2011. I had to fire 30 people all around. Some of these were close friends I had sent to other places, but it had to be done for the health of the business. And so after that went on, when they saw the opportunity to move it to a $60 million business wasn't still there, they decided to, hey, we'd be willing to sell it back, and my offer was the best one on the table, so they took it, which worked out. If you can do that, I recommend it. Yeah. Any other questions?
What are you working on now?
A couple different businesses. One, which is mentioned, I guess, in the flyer, this My Easy HQ, which is a back office business. One of the benefits of growing a business so big was that we had an incredible back office. And what I realized was that other entrepreneurial holics could benefit from having a great back office. So we've actually spun that into its own business, My Ease HQ, and we support entrepreneurs. We let them do what they do best, and we do the rest. The idea is kind of like a pit crew. Come in for all the things that you need, and then we'll send you back out on your way. And it's worked out really well. The other business I started, one of the frustrating things in the educational space is that there's not enough, although it's a great cause, schools districts don't have the money they need, and it's hard to convince people to give back. So I just figured, why don't I try to do it myself? So hopefully in the next 2 weeks, I'm starting a hedge fund called The Engine. And what we're going to do is for every dollar we get in returns for our investors, we're going to give $1 to a vetted nonprofit. I'm really excited about that. We've had some really good returns. That business is called Vicker Capital, and I'm excited about the future. I think that's really going to be the engine that empowers pretty much everything I do from here on out. Great question, though. Other questions? Yes, sir, in the back.
Are you using any disruptive educational tools like Khan Academy and MOOCs and things like that in your business?
Yeah, so we are. We're actually looking at, there's a really disruptive technology called ScribeSense. I think they were featured during Ed Week here, that they're doing some really amazing stuff, and we're looking for a partnership there. We also are working with, we've done some stuff with Khan Academy. We've built some stuff in-house. I was blessed that my sophomore roommate was a computer guy, and so he's been building most of our products. But Tom Vander Ark, who's the first educational director of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, he's become a friend of mine kind of through this process, and we look at his blog, gettingsmart.com, and they talk about a lot of the technologies that are out there. So if you're looking for disruptive stuff, he usually shows them on his blog. Great question. Other questions? Yes.
Did you always know you wanted to do a social enterprise? Or?
No, I wanted to be a lawyer. I was very clear on that. since fifth grade, I wanted to be Matlock. I wanted to be Perry Mason, and then go off and be president. But if you've ever worked with kids, they have a way of stealing your heart. And that's what happened. We were in the rooms, and I always believed that the only reason things were as bad as they were is that people just didn't know. And that if I could kind of shed a light on what's going on, they could see it. And when you ask other things that I'm doing, I'm involved with a nonprofit called Linking the World. And they actually we've come together and created a strategic partnership and built a global social leadership class. And so what we do is my old high school is going to be the first pilot. My old high school is actually partnered with a school in Haiti, and the kids are taking a class together. And actually on the 25th, we're going to have our first class where the kids Skype together, and it's just really incredible. So I didn't know, but I'm here now. She's giving me the stop sign, so I'll go ahead and stop. But thank you very much for your time. If you have any other questions, just tweet me out. And if you tweet me out, I guess there's a lot of y'all, so maybe I could charge for. Wait, it's happening again. I better go. All right, see you later.